are going to be awesome before you even knew the meaning of the word. Today's guest is a young man who has shown greatness since he left the womb. Like many great directors before his time, he started early making films with action figures and his parents' 8mm camera at an early age. Our guest has had a natural creative flow since the time he could walk. Look at how his creativeness with the camera was amplified thanks to what he learned in the television production course at NCC. The Humanities Communication Arts Department at Norwalk Community College presents The New Directors, the show that introduces you to television's future writers, directors, and personalities. And now join our host, Tana Kenny, to meet the new directors.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us for today's edition of The New Directors. All of the people involved with this program are students in the television production course here at Norwalk Community College, and they're directing, switching, controlling audio, operating cameras, and acting as talent for the first time today. The guests you are about to meet are students who, when not on camera, are behind the scenes, working hard to bring this program to you with as few mistakes as possible. Each student will write and direct 3 different productions. This program will give them the outlet to talk about themselves, the productions they are planning, and give you the chance to get to know them better and watch their progress throughout the semester. Today's guest discovered his creative abilities when he was just a child. Beginning at age 10, today's guest has been enhancing his creative outlet in film, not just utilizing his artwork. The clips we are going to show you are the very first official productions done by our guest, Mike Lametta, done in the 5th grade, and later we'll show you his latest short film just 2 weeks ago. We would like you to meet today's guest, Mike Big Shot Lametta. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Tanner. How's it going, Tanner?
It's going pretty good.
Good.
So tell me how TV One has helped your creativity behind the camera.
Well, the most important thing that I learned was to use the tripod. I think it just gives the footage a much more professional look, you know, and it minimizes shake, which really makes a video look terrible. And, you know, unwanted camera moves are also taken away when you use the tripod. Another thing that I hope to use in the future that I learned here in this class is the rule of thirds when setting up my frames and angles. It gives the composition a much better look. I know now to leave room for handles in the beginning and end of taping a scene so that I may properly render effects. Without them, things get jumbled up. Another important rule I learned in this class was to never cross the 180 line. In our first short sequence, I showed Tanner Kelly tying his shoes. Just as he was about to sit down, I crossed the line, and when I revised the footage, the jump was ugly as hell. Fortunately, I think I learned from my lessons. Then here.
Well, thank you, Mike. Could you also tell us why you decided to take the TV production course here at NCC?
I took TV1 to further enhance my filmmaking skills, and I hope to make exciting videos in the future, and this class has helped me, you know, hone my skills so I can make a more professional looking product. I wanted to learn how to edit so I can make my films come together quicker with better transitions. And I've always had good ideas for films, I just didn't know how to execute them properly, and I hope that after this semester I'll be walking away from this class with the skills I need to create on my own.
Well, that's great. I hope you get to do that someday. But what are some of the most useful things that you learned to do in the TV production course?
The most useful things I learned in the course were proper cinematography, primarily the use of the 180 line, and I also like the idea of the rule of thirds. I know it's a classic structural artistic tool, but it's used in a lot of my favorite films I noticed as I analyze them now, and I think it really helps composition. And I've always wanted to be able to cut and paste my scenes together rather than trying to edit it like I used to as a kid on the VCR with the 8mm. So now the use of in and out points has really been invigorating to me.
Well, now we heard about your learning project and the campus story and the fall foliage. Why don't you show us some and talk about them?
On the first project, which was the sword sequence, I learned how bad it looks when you jump the 180 line. I really should have used more angles and shots to show the action of Tanner tying his shoelace, but I only used about 8. I wish that I'd used maybe 15 and get the point across better. You know, in the fall foliage project, I was eager to get out and get some really awesome footage. I traveled to Terry Wild Park in Danbury, Connecticut, Devil's Den Park in Easton, and several locations in Brattleboro, Vermont, in search of the right footage. And I think I came out with something interesting. Unfortunately, I didn't take long enough shots, therefore my clip lacked handles, which resulted in errors when it came to rendering my effects. But I still think the overall project was good. Now, the campus story was exciting to make because it was the first film project that I felt I had suitable creative control. I had wanted to film this scene for a very long time, and I felt that it was a well-done piece. I could have made it more amusing with a wider choice in music, and I also wish that I could have spent more time on the bathroom shots. We had to do it at an odd hour so people wouldn't come into the bathroom when we were filming because it would be invasion of privacy on our part. So that was difficult overall, but I feel it was a good short considering we couldn't use spoken words.
Well, that's great, Mike, but I know just like with your children, you have to have a favorite project. What was your favorite?
Oh, my favorite children or project was the campus story, which I titled Lametta. First off, I'd like to give credit where credit's due, and where credits is due is in the talent for this short. Mr. Tanner Kenny.
Well, thank you so much,
was
Mike.
An absolute delight to work with. Absolute delight.
And you were as well.
And the concept here is that this man has to go to the bathroom number 2. Really bad. And I mean, I wanted the viewer to know that he's prairie dogging it from here on and out. The film follows our main man, Jerry, as he makes this treacherous walk to the bathroom. Only for Jerry, the terror doesn't stop there. He can't go unless there is no one else in the room, which makes going difficult. I felt that I tied my sequences together and that I used interesting cinematography in this short 3-minute film. And I felt that my choice of music was perfect as it escalated to the humor when Jerry leaves the bathroom with a toilet paper tail.
Well, that's great, Mike. Really great project.
Thanks.
Now, just as a young child would take a ball of cheese and ball it up, we're going to take that information that you learned from the TV production course and apply it, to a future career. So, what do you plan to do next?
Let me know. I hope with my newfound techniques in video, I hope to document parties and edit the footage together so I could go back to it in the future and send it to my friends so we could see what it was like when we were living the golden ages that we're here now. We see what the good old days were like, as old people would say. In other words, I'd like to document things with the video camera, everything I do, camping trips, boating trips, vacations, snowboarding and ski videos primarily. And I'd also like to pursue making short films with my friends.
That's great, Mike. Really great. Well, today we got to meet our guest, Michael Lametta. He showed us how he's utilized the TV production class to further his creative juices when it comes to the filmmaking. We got to see his first ever film, where Mike used action figures as talent and the camera work looked like an earthquake. We also got to see the tremendous strides and progress between his earliest project and his most recent short film, La Mère de La. We'd like to thank Mike for joining us today.
Thanks, Tanner.
Thanks, Mike. We hope you enjoyed meeting one of TV's future directors and hope you will continue to join us each and every week to watch our progress. Thank you and good day.
Ayubu Mampela. The New Directors is a Norwalk Community College student production.